Welcome back to my daily Tezo update. Without further ado, let's begin our daily Parliament session highlight. Chaired by Honourable Speaker Kemustam Tempela, the 8th day of the 17th Tibetan Parliament in Exile's 5th session began at 9:30 as scheduled. The session for today continued with the discussion from previous sitting upon budget presentation, deliberation and sanction of various chapters like Tibet Policy Institute, the Bureau of His Holiness the Dalai Lama of Delhi, ITCO, that's Indo-Tibet Coordination Office of Delhi, then the Office of Tibet Washington DC, Tibetan Community Development Fund, then Tibet Bureau Geneva, the Office of Tibet of London, the Tibet House Trust of London, Tibet Information Office of Canberra, Tibet Cultural Centre Limited of Australia, the Liaison Office of His Holiness the Dalai Lama of Tokyo, then Japan Tibet House Trust, the Tibetan Refugee Welfare Office of Kathmandu, the Tibetan Cultural and Information Center of Moscow, Bureau de Tibet of Brussels, Bureau de Tibet of Paris, and Office of Tibet of Pretoria, that's South Africa. The Chitus tabled deliberation on the undertaking of the Office of Tibet under Chitaligu de IR, raising queries on various subjects, including the budgets on Tibet advocacy initiatives, on various administrative services, matters on implementation of some ongoing important projects, matters relating to Tibetan association abroad, and various other budget allocations. So, as per the list of business, the session proceeded with the very important legislative procedures, a second reading for the amendment on some articles of the Charter, consisting of Article 63, Clause 2, that's the criteria for the Justice Commissioner of the Tibetan Supreme Justice Commission, which failed to pass for the third reading. The second amendment proposal by Parliament's Standing Committee for Article 25, 45, 47, 63, Clause 3, 97, then 101, Clause 3, and 107 were also repealed after it failed to receive the necessary numbers of votes from the House. For your information, the second reading consists of due deliberation on and around a proposed legislative amendment consisting of thorough discussion on the bill to be either passed or rejected by the parliamentarians. The third reading is the final presentation and adoption of the legislation. So, the proposed amendments by Sigyon Pemba Sirila, the incumbent color of Department of Homes, to Article 5, 6, some of the clauses, Article 7, Article 9, 12 of the rules and regulation for the allotment of residential quarters for staff and former staff passed for the third reading with 2/3 votes in the House. Then the amendment on Article 9 of the rules of budget for also passed for the third reading with 2/3 votes in the House. Whereas amendments on Article 7 and 10 of rules and regulation for the Tibetan voluntary contribution and other contribution passed for the third reading with 2/3 votes in the House upon further revision. Herein from the new fiscal year, there'll be a rise in the volunteer contribution of Tibetans living in India, Nepal, and Bhutan, while amendments for Article 12 of the rules and regulation for Tibetan voluntary contributions and other contributions proposed by Sikkim Pemba the incumbent Kalun of Department of Finance, failed to receive enough support in the House. And the Article 18 passed for the third reading in the House. Furthermore, rest of the amendments of the rules and regulation of salaries and other allowances for various dignitary positions were all repealed after it failed to receive the necessary numbers of votes from the House. So the session continued with presentation and deliberation of the budget of various offices like Tibet Religious Foundation of His Holiness the Dalai Lama in Taiwan, Taipei, and Tibet House, Brazil, all of which come under the Department of Information and International Relations. Moreover, the 62 Tibetan Freedom Movement, that's Rangden Sokchung, the Election Commission and the Public Service Commission, the Office of Auditor General and Auditor General's branches in South India, its branches in Nepal, in Dikiling, and the Department of Finance itself, Department of Finance says Tibetan Administration's Welfare Society, that's TOS, and His Holiness the Dalai Lama's Charitable Trust, the SART organization, that's and the CTA staff mess. So basically they all pass through, and the deliberation on the budget of the Department of Religion and Culture, that's Churi Likung, and the third reading of the legislative procedure will convene in tomorrow's session. So the session today adjourned at 5 p.m. Until 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. That was all for today. So I hope that you'll be able to go and check the live and see, go back through all the legislative procedures that has happened, the reason why it was many of them were rejected and several of them were adopted, proceeding towards the third reading. So yeah, that's it.